Leo, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for September 12th through the 18th of 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below because the signs are different. All right, so Leo, this week we have a lunar eclipse, making this another very powerful week here in September, which is about your 8th house here. Lunar eclipse will be in your 8th house, which is about the deeper side to life. It's about connecting to what really matters in life. And if it's in relationships, for example, it might have to do with intimacy, openness, vulnerability, getting in contact with these real raw, deeper things within the relationship, but also within yourself. You know, this is what it's fundamentally about. It's fundamentally about you getting in contact with your deeper self. With yourself, you might even say psychologically, you know, seeing where there might be some fears, some inhibitions, some things that are holding you back from enjoying the real essence of life. So with this lunar eclipse, it's actually the last and final culmination, you can say, that has to do with the 8th house, because you've had the South Node transiting this 8th house of yours over the past roughly couple years. And all these eclipses that have been associated with it have been emphasizing it. So now this is the last lunar eclipse, the last eclipse in this 8th house of yours for 16 years, suggesting now a final culmination of these deeper things in life. So with the lunar eclipse, it's like a full moon. It's a great time to do this status check to see how your life is unfolding in this area. You know, what is really meaningful to you? How can you be more open and vulnerable, primarily with yourself, and then maybe also with relationships, and really with life? You know, this is another fundamental. It's that deeper connection to life, and that's where we can, again, see what truly matters to us. So with all this coming to the forefront, it's a good time to do the status check, see what's working, let go of what's not working in this area, so you can continue to cultivate what is, you know, the healthy expressions of this 8th house. Some of you too might be dealing with others' resources or interdependencies or bonds or attachments or debts. These are also 8th house matters on an external level. So in that regard, if you're experiencing anything like that, good time again, see what you can what comes your way, what awareness comes your way, so you can change and modify and continue to cultivate more of that true connection there to life. All right, so that's the lunar eclipse. It is going to be collectively challenging, as this whole solar eclipse cycle has been about. It's going to be squaring up to Mars, conjoining up to Chiron, in fact, and opposing up to Mercury retrograde. So first of all, with Chiron, this is Chiron who's recently shifted into your 8th this year, suggesting some healing now with your deeper self. Again, maybe fears, traumas, things coming to the forefront that you can do the healing with. So it's really illuminating all of this. It's a great time, especially in the 8th house, to do healing and any type of psychological work, I suppose, psychological awareness, and even healing too with the deeper connection to life in and of itself, because it's all in Pisces, it's all in the 8th house, making it very watery. And so if you feel any wounds about that, about your ability to connect to that essence, I think it's a good time to be aware of it, which is the first step. And then acceptance is really the transformation point, accepting that we have these fears after we become aware of them, or whatever it is that might be surfacing in the 8th that could then lead to that transformation. All right, now the square up to Mars is suggesting that there might be a lot of motivation and drive here towards cultivating your roots, maybe your home life, your family life, and maybe even your health for some of you who've been more geared on that level of the 4th. But in either case, it's good with Mars in a square all week to bring extra attention to the self, to the ego, to those drives, to make sure that nothing is imbalanced here, right? That everything is nice and even. And with that in mind, then it can be a good week for you to take a nice slow and steady patient approach, which has been Saturn in your 4th house, towards cultivating these roots in your life. Now the Mercury retrograde is actually going to shape up earlier in the week, when Mercury retrograde goes over the sun there in your sign, actually in your 1st house. So with that, there's now this reconsideration, this reevaluation of you, of your goals, of where you're headed, and perhaps most fundamentally, this early part of the week, your independence. And so with all this now reflection, it's good over these next couple weeks to reconsider some things that have to do with your independence. Reconsider some things that have to do with yourself. And in that way, you'll be learning a lot. There'll likely be things that are changing. You know, this whole life path is actually for you to cultivate your independence for the next year, year and a half with the North Node here. But now with an open-mindedness to change, maybe reconsider some things so you can learn more about this. And so with that being said, it's about balance, of course, during the lunar eclipse. So we're not going to either extremes of just the independence, of just the self, keeping everything nice and balanced with maybe relationships or, again, these things that really matter in life. All right, so that's the T-square involving that lunar eclipse and the early part of the week with that Mercury retrograde over the sun, also squaring up to Mars there. So again, extra attention there with any drives. The sun, your ruler, is actually going to be shifting into your second house this week, so quite significantly, especially as we approach the weekend. This focus now towards the perhaps material side of life, if it's externally, or more of a focus towards your inner resources, your ability to go after the things you value in life, you know, your sense of self-worth, your confidence, your self-efficacy as it is, you know, your ability to cultivate your values. So great source of energy here. You've already had plenty of opportunity these past couple weeks to maybe increase the financial life, maybe do some saving. It's all collective, so it depends on your personal chart. But at the very least, a bit of inspiration about this. Okay, and so with the inspiration, utilize it. This is actually going to be the location of the next new moon in about 2 weeks, cultivating new beginnings with these inner and outer resources of yours. Not to mention 2 Venuses here, helping you connect and enjoy perhaps those things in life. And I think most fundamentally to be grateful for those things that we do have in our lives. All right, so that's the middle part of the week pretty much. And then as we go into the weekend, Mars is going to be trining up to Uranus. So maybe a bit of freedom over the weekend. Uranus will also be opposing up to Venus, so suggesting balance. But freedom here of liberating, again, the deeper side of life. Uranus has been in your 8th house for the past roughly 14 years, 7 years, helping you get more freedom and liberate yourself here with the deeper side of things to really connect to what matters. And that can be very freeing for you right now at the moment. So with that support, could be good. Maybe there with the home life, lifting things up, family, health stuff, which has been more under the tension the earlier part of the week, which is nice to have that support there. And with Venus, just remembering that there is this balance needed, right? There's a lot of deeper things taking place, but there's also a lot of material things, surface things. So watching any extremes over the weekend, I think will be important. You know, not getting just into the deeper, just into the psychological side of matters, and not just into the material enjoyment of things, and really seeing them as one and the same. That the things we enjoy on a material level is because we have some sort of deep connection to them, or it reflects some sort of deep connection to us in life and what matters, and vice versa. Everything that's deep does have a physical counterpart in nature, in the physical world, that can be cultivated as well. All right, Leo, so this is the week in a nutshell. Definitely an emphasis on this lunar eclipse in your 8th house, helping you connect to what really matters in life, maybe have a greater awareness about the importance of healthy interdependency, healthy codependency, and releasing yourself from any bonds, things we're attached to, maybe psychologically. That's where the fears and things come into the picture, but also externally too. Debts, for example, or things we might be attached to externally. You know, seeing this, using this time to make the changes, to let go of some old things here, some old belief systems, which is the South Node, to make way for the newer, more healthier expression of that 8th house. So Leo, have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.